Hello there, Optimus Prime here, and I'm cracking on with yet another video that has been recorded in the same afternoon, so if I start to go a little bit mad, you know why. This will be a video for Star Wars The Black Series, Bo-Katan, who is a character from The Mandalorian, who has also appeared in both Clone Wars and Rebels, and is played in all three versions by the amazing Katie Sackhoff, who people most likely will know as Starbuck from the Battlestar Galactica reboot. Anyway, I'm going to crack onto booth mode and get her open and do a quicker review than I've been managing for the other ones. Booth mode activate. Booth mode activated. Okay, so first thing to point out, yes, I do have two Bo-Katan figures, which is entirely by accident. I inadvertently pre-ordered her in two places and had forgot to cancel one of them before they both arrived. So I'm going to open this one. I'm going to keep that one, which I'll probably just sell. She's not as difficult to get hold of as I was anticipating at the time. I've left my light ring on, so we have a bit of a mister on effect going there. Let's have a quick look at her box before I get her open and have a look at the figure itself. So very quickly, it's your standard black issue package, Black Series. Start that again. It's your standard issue Black Series packaging. They changed it recently to these sort of more angular boxes with a very nice portrait of the figure or the character on the side, with some fun little, they all sort of fit together so you get a sort of a bigger picture. So like the G.I. Joe figures, they've got gorgeous packaging, and if I could display them with the packaging I would, but unfortunately having a box sideways on a shelf takes up so much space. So again, all the figures I've got in this line, the boxes I've kept and popped into the loft for one day when I probably still won't actually display them. So there's not really a lot to say other than that. It says Star Wars The Mandalorian because she's from The Mandalorian. It says Bo-Katan Kryze because that's her name. It's Kryze? Bo-Katan, just go with Bo-Katan. And on the back we have character portrait again and several languages worth of guff. Cool, so just like with some, well, it depends. If this is put out before the Black Series, the G.I. Joe Classifieds opening, this will be the first time I've done this. If this is put out afterwards, then you would have seen me do this before. Sellotape at the bottom, which is a trick I only recently learnt. Somehow I'd always been opening the 3 or 4 bits of sellotape at the top, which is dumb when you can just do one at the bottom. Silly me. Black Series figures these days come in a clamshell, so the plastic that's on the front of the box is actually part of this. The top part easily pops off, and then we have the figure, which we'll have a decent look at in a moment. Really nice looking face sculpt. Let's get out her dual pistols. That seems to be fairly standard for some Mandalorians. There's her helmet with her heraldry. Pretty cool. And I always find with these figures that getting the legs out first makes it easier. Oops. Okay. Let's stay there for a moment while I get rid of this. Let's get this out the way. There we go. Right. So let's have a look at the figure. So obvious points: she's wearing Mandalorian armor, so she's got the usual sort of underclothing, which is fairly standard, a bit more militaristic than the Mandalorian's garb. She's a soldier and a ruler, and has been around for quite some time. So yeah, her armor is nice. There's some good weathering over the boobula area there. She's got nice little holsters for her pistols. We can pop those in there. Yeah, fit nicely, as you'd expect. Another one. Jetpack flew off when I was getting her out of the box. Nice little jetpack, similar to Jango Fett's and indeed the Mandalorians. It's a little less. The sort of Return of the Jedi, Empire Strikes Back, Boba Fett one had sort of separate jets and was a little bit bulkier and had a longer missile. So this looks more like Jango Fett's, but I guess it doesn't really matter. And unlike the problem I've been having with G.I. Joe classified figures, the backpack very easily fits on the figure. So let's have a quick look at some of the details. He's got is that the Clan Kryze marking? Seems to be. I don't actually know. I'm not a massive expert, to be honest. I watched the show and I liked the show, all of the shows, but I would not consider myself an expert by any means. Let's have a look at her face. So again, like most of the Hasbro figures recently, they've switched to this face printing technology in the last couple of years, and it makes such a difference. The faces look amazing. The face sculpts have always been really solid, but they've normally been hidden away underneath shoddy paintwork, but this looks good. And her hair is a separate piece, so you've got, like, you can see sort of behind it her headband, and it's a quite striking likeness of Katie Sackhoff. I don't know whether they do 3D scans. I assume they still do that. They used to. So that's probably why it looks quite so much like her. Cool. So that is her face. And then we have her helmet. Now, sometimes with these helmets, they have a bit of a problem with these where they've sort of sunken in. This one actually looks pretty sturdy, so that's quite cool. It's detailed quite differently from a standard Mandalorian helmet. There's sort of cut-out sections here in the cheeks that look pretty cool. The paint apps are pretty nice. I think it's a little bit off-center. I can't tell. There's a smudge there that makes it difficult to see. Some of these I've seen in the groups have had some quite poor paint apps, in that things have ended up being just sort of shoddily splodged on and off center and all in the wrong place. But I think that actually looks pretty good. Let's pop her helmet on. That looks pretty good. Downside to action figures with helmets is you can occasionally end up with them looking a bit large, so that looks a little chunkier than it would in the actual show, but that's fine. Not too bothered. I'll probably have it off rather than on. She's got her little viewfinder job, which is cool. And yeah, so again, like the G.I. Joe classified figures and all of the other Star Wars Black Series figures, they have the sort of standard sort of posability, so ankle tilt, and there's a bit of movement there, sort of impeded slightly by her armour, but you wouldn't want too much there. And rather than the double knee and double elbow joints, she's got a single joint. It's quite a lot of play there though. So that goes like that, but it does also swivel. So actually these are probably better. Might get a few less poses out of it, but because you can't get the knee as far back, that's not bad. That's not bad. And the same with the elbow joint. I've found with this style elbow joint that they can be really stiff and really difficult to move. This one's not too bad. I've had a couple of these where it's literally fused and you can't get anything out of it. But again, like the knee, you've got the swivel there as well. They're quite cool little joints, so I quite like those. She doesn't have a shelbow joint because the elbow can swivel, and she doesn't have a lot of play because the arm are there and the arm are there. There's not really a lot of room she can go up there at all, and the same on that arm. So no hugs, I'm afraid, unless sort of go like that. Yeah, there's a little bit more play there. You could possibly tuck the armour under a little bit, but that's getting quite tight. Let's not do that. Yeah, so bit of a lack of posability there. Not terrible, but not great. And there's a little bit of waist, sort of stomach crunch ability. It's sort of a ball joint for the top and bottom half of the body there. Has that replaced the waist? I think it has. Yeah, so despite me saying it's sort of standard, maybe this is the standard for the sort of female characters these days, it's not massively posable. There's some posability there, but you're not going to get anything too dynamic. You're not going to be able to do like a Black Widow action pose with her legs and arms going off in all different directions to look awesome. But yeah, as she stands, it's pretty cool. I mean, let's face it, most of people that I know tend to pose them like so on their shelf. Oops. I know I do. But that's just me. I pop a gun in her hand. That look quite cool. Now the big question is, do I steal the Darksaber off of my Moff Gideon figure and give that to her? Because she is the rightful owner of the Darksaber. However, something about it has to be won or something. Spoilers if you haven't seen the show. If you haven't seen the show, why are you watching this? Okay, she can get some. Yeah, okay. That's not too bad. That's not too bad. I can deal with that. Right! That is Star Wars Black Series The Mandalorian Bo-Katan. And that's pretty much all I'm going to say about her. Thanks for watching. See you again.
Fingers on plastic.